Hi everybody, here's your DIY on how I make the daisy chain with 7/64 Amsteel. Okay, so I start off with the rope and I've captured 5.5 inches right here, and then I've controlled the two strands with a piece of tape. And that's where I'm going to tie the Evo loop knot, the button knot. Okay, so I'll do this full speed, but then in the link I will give you or in the description I'll give you a link that is a lot easier to follow. We just start tying it like this. You do to each strand what you've done to the other strand. You just tie it along like this. And I use the splicing tool to tie it. And since I have two colors, it kind of actually helps you tie it. After you do that part I just showed, this strand is going to come around and come up beyond that strand, and then the same thing with this strand. It's going to come around and come up through that loop. So if this is too fast for you, don't worry. There's going to be a really good video in the description that shows you how I tie this. So I just start off by getting this button knot tied up. And right here's where I use the number 5 yarning tool to open the knot. At the top of the knot there's this little crown here. We got to open that up and bring those two strands down. We got that opened up. It's going to come in from the bottom with the splicing tool and grab those. Just like that. Let's grab the other one. Okay, so if you want to make a 6-foot daisy chain, you just add 14 inches to it. Basically, those 14 inches that you're adding gives you enough to tie 2 of these button knots. So each one I'm using 5.5 inches, but we lose a little bit more, and so 14 inches gives us just enough. And this is what I do here. I just use a grasping tool to hold the knot in position. Then I can pull these strands really tight. This is optional. You can just dress the knot up really good, like in the video that I'll put in the description, and it'll still end up looking really good once you use it and it tightens up in use. So I have 6 foot 14 inches of blue and 6 foot 14 inches of gray. And also, you don't have to do this button knot on the ends when you connect these together. You can do whatever you want. I mean, you can honestly do an overhand knot. You can also weave them together, like in my connecting short pieces video. You can do a splice where they get weaved together, and I'll put that video down in the description too. But having the button knot on one end really just makes this thing super useful. And I like to, when I have two colors on the bottom, I like to bury the gray inside of the blue. It just makes it look cool. Okay, we're almost finished with the button knot, and then we can move on to the easy part. I'm just pulling the tails of the button knot down in here. Apologies for going so fast. For you guys that don't want to watch it fast can just fast forward. But so now we have our button knot, and so I was doing 3.5 inches for every one, but you could do 2 or 4. 3.5 gives a nice adjustment. So I just start at 3.5 and enter one of the braids, and then I pull the other piece through. Just like that. Whoops, something fell down. Just like you're doing a lock brummel. And this whole part here where I got my cord tangled up, that's not so important. That's not one of the big steps. Let's start that over again. Something in the background fell down. We got a little crazy. So we just start off doing like a lock brummel. Pull one piece through, like that. And we're going to do this 3 times. So I went through once, okay, through the gray, and now I'm going to go through the blue. Just like that. Grab the end of my other piece, pull it through. Okay, so now we actually have the way that most people make these daisy chains. These are also used in some hunting applications. But the only thing about leaving it like this is it can come apart. So it can go like that. So what I've been doing in all my testings, I do one more pass through. So I just entered the blue for the last part of the splice, and I'm going through the gray, and I'm going to pull the blue piece through, and that will finish the first loop. So see, there you have this like several triangles in a line formation, and then this won't move. Those splices won't open up like the noose of a shackle. This will stay locked in place. And then you just keep doing that. You just keep doing that however many inches you want until you're done. And then when you get all the way to the end, you can finish it off however you want. You can just do it like a continuous loop, do a locked Brummel, or whatever you want to do. Okay, now here we have a finished piece, the yellow and gray piece from my last video. And so when I do a long one, this is how I do it. I set it up on a shelf or on a solid surface. So as I make it, I can make it be nice and even. So as I do the splice, I just come down and hold it in front of me like this. And that way you keep things really even and it doesn't flop around on the desk for you. So to make it easier, you can just, I'll show you up here. I just have it anchored up there, and then I have it soft shackled in place as I build it. So that makes it really easy to keep everything even and keep the splices looking good by having it like this, where every time you make a splice, then you can kind of pull it back in line, and then you can go to your next splice and go to your next splice, and it'll make it look perfect and even, and you won't accidentally get any like little twists where you kind of turn the line like that and then it kind of gets twisted a little bit. Somebody asked me in the last video, can I soft link this if I have an Evo loop on my hammock? Because what I was suggesting is that you can, if you have an Evo loop on your hammock, say this is your Evo loop, you can just come up and go like this and hang it like that, and this will close up and it'll be secure enough to hang in. But they were asking me, can I soft link it too? Yeah, you can soft link it too. What you do is just take your button knot that's on your Evo loop right here, and then you would go, whoops, here, let me start this over for just really quick. Okay, so what you would do is put your line, your daisy chain line, through the Evo loop on your hammock, and then wherever you wanted to soft link in it to make it super secure, you would just grab the spliced part where my thumb and forefinger are right here, and then just go up and over the button knot, and then it'll create that soft shackle link. Now that's really secure versus just popping it into one of the holes. And so yes, you can do the soft link through the legs and up over the knot. You just go through the legs first, so you would just be adjusting your hammock like this, or whatever, your backpack hanger, whatever you were using this line for. And then when you had it where you wanted it, you would just pull the spliced part up over and then let it close up. Just like that. For you guys that have the E&O hammocks, those come with like a really short suspension. Always wish the E&O hammocks came with longer suspensions. So if you have the toggle on your E&O hammock, check this out. It works in there too. Just like that. So the E&O hammocks, they come with those like little short whoopee slings and short straps. So if you got an E&O hammock, this is a good option to use these toggles with. Okay, so that's how you make it. That's how you use it on your hammock. And one thing you'll notice on this is as it's built, with each splice, this splice I entered the gray first, and then on the next one I entered the yellow first. That just naturally happens by having the lines lined up. And so you'll notice when you hang your hammock, if you're using like a toggle or a button like my button here, the line that is not spliced, so like in this splice, the yellow one is the one that is not spliced first. It's the one that just goes in first. The gray one has been spliced first. It has the first split. So you'll notice that the yellow line, it'll kind of be the one that loops outwards. Like it'll kind of look like it gets more room, and that's just the nature of it. That's kind of like that's kind of good. I think it really lets it close up tighter around the button knot, and it'll kind of set like this once you put your weight in it. So just something to be aware of. You'll probably notice it when you hang it, and it might look a little funky, and it might seem like, oh, that's like a really big stress point. But just remember, with normal whoopee slings that are super successful in our hammock camping, that's exactly how the large loop is set up. It slides in and out, and it will get a little bit opened up right there. So if you notice that happening when you hang it, and it looks like that part's just like kind of opening up, probably not something to worry about too much. But yeah, that's it. You just keep doing the splices, and you'll have your daisy chain. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you got one. Thank you, everybody.